of you want to do things right? To keep up with keeping your lives tight. Tight as in being right with the truth of true insight. Who of you want to do things right? Who of you want to truly succeed in attaining all in that which is your need? To be heard by the real answerer of all deeds, the true hero of all whom pleads. Who of you really want to bow down to the true King of Kings commanding the crown? To worship the one that ever rules alone, commanding everything of creation from the seat of its throne.
Good evening and welcome to an A.H.A.D moment, the calm before the storm. I'm your host, Minister Idris Taha, and with me have Brother Fakir Abdul-Aziz, Lord Holy-Apostle Deen Saleem, and Holy Queen Mother Rabbi Saleem. May Ahezaah's peace and other blessings be within about everybody's presence. Those out there in the studio audience, may Ahezaah's peace be about your presence, and those viewing this program, may the Lord's peace and other blessings be within about your presence as well. As always, we'd like to thank y'all for tuning to this program. We hope, like I said before, we hope you're being educated, being uplifted in your spirituality or in your search to come to what Ahezaah have sent down of his truth for this day. With that being said, Ahezaah blessed me with an idea that I ran across the messenger and about how people have a tendency to fear men, situations, conditions, more so than they fear the Lord Most High itself. And I know many people that watch this program, I have ran across people that view our program with more of the naysayers or the more negative, instead of really investigating or hearing the words of truth or trying to understand what we're really about. They automatically go into defense and say, he can't be of the Lord, he can't be the messenger, he can't be the one sent because of the time, that the situation, the condition that we're living in now. No one wants to really believe that the Lord will actually come down in this day and hour and speak to mankind, give forth of his word through someone like Holy Apostle Deen to give forth this message. So with that, I think, maybe a topic today that we can discuss and get involved in. Brothers, Holy Queen, Holy Apostle.
Well, before we get into that, I want to welcome our New York audience.
Oh, definitely.
We've been like doing our thing for quite some time. We've been on the viewer screen for about 3 years, I believe. Right. Mm-hmm. And we've been attempting to do our thing on the internet. So we have it on the internet, which is international. Right. And we have our beloved New York audience now that has joined us with the Newark, Elizabeth, Roselle, Linden, and what have you. And so I want to say, all right, welcome, New York City, Yeah. And with that, I propose that we kind of like go back over some of our old lessons, our old conversations and what have you. Get more involved in the education. Yes. And those stone throwers. Well, I hope. Personally, I hope that our New York audience got a little more on the ball than some of these Muslims over here on the west side of the Hudson, man.
Right.
And would actually, instead of hating the words that they hear in their small argument, because we have sent forth millions of words from the Lord, millions of words from the Lord. Right. And the only argument I've received in 29 years, or 14 years, or whatever, it's been 15 years since Allah has made it known clearly to me that I am its messenger prophet. The only argument is, I can't listen to you because Muhammad is the last. In other words, I'm going to cut off all my intellect, all my intelligence, all my awareness from you because you said Muhammad is the last. Wow. They turn on the TV and listen to the devil all day. Turn on the radio and listen to the devil all day. Have conversations on their jobs with people who are clear doers of evils all day, every day, never cutting off anybody else because of that one statement. Right. Now, I hope and I believe that the Muslims on the east side of the Hudson got a little more going on for themselves as to where they can hate me for saying I'm the messenger prophet of Ahezaah, but at the same time they will investigate intelligently all the other things that I say.
Right.
You know, because it don't matter to me whether they believe that I'm the messenger of Allah.
Right.
What matters to me is that I receive the pleasure of Allah for me doing its will in righteousness as I am commanded by it, and receive the favor of its peace, because they can't take nobody can take its peace from me.
Right.
And nobody can give its peace to me except it. So that's where I'm at with our new audience, and many of the brothers on the west side of the Hudson who have surrendered, but they're not courageous enough to go out and tell the rest of the brothers,
right.
Listen, look, this brother telling the truth.
Right.
You know, with all that we have, Allah has prophesied through me in this immediate day and time that has come to pass, and those things that are coming to pass, just like when we said back in the 90s
Right.
that the Jews were going to come to take over the new chosen city of grace,
Right.
the New Jerusalem, which is Newark, which Nostradamus made
Right.
mention of when he talked about its location and the appearance of it. Allah said to me, Ahezaah said to me that this is the new chosen city. And so let's go from there.
Lord, come to mind. We're talking about how much of the older audience, we're talking to the new audience right now and the older audience, about how disconcerted, how upset they get when you propose the thing about being the messenger prophet of Allah, the messenger of this day and time, those Muslims who go by the notion that Muhammad is the last.
Yeah.
But we've upset people of other walks of faith too. You're talking about the Christians, and you're talking about the Hindus and many of those other people. And it just comes to mind, just to share.
Well, before you go any
Yeah.
further, keep that thought.
Yes.
Before you go any further, the reason I mentioned the Muslims is because the Christians haven't come to my office talking about assassinating me.
Sure.
Okay.
They haven't sent out evil words to me. They haven't thrown stones at me.
Right.
You understand? They haven't sneered at me. They keep to themselves and say Jesus is all we need, and that's it. You understand? Regardless of the position they take, they haven't made threats against me. You see, that's the only reason I'm pinpointing the Muslims in this particular order.
I brought up the people of other faiths, Lord, and that just preface to the new audience and to remind the old audience about what is the universal religion of truth. You know, this word of the Lord of all worlds, the truly Lord of all worlds, all times, all places.
And all minds.
And all minds and all things. Thank you. And who sends us messengers without the aid of any educators or the so-called theologians or the so-called scholars of Islam, or without the aid of any man. This Lord is independent of all things. It is the truly independent one. And you sharing the universal religion of truth, you sharing what is the universal religion of truth, Lord?
We put the word universal on it so that people will look at it as, all beyond this world of earth that we live on. That's the only reason we put universal, but it's much more than universal. It is the all, the truth of the all. Now, what is all inconclusive of the all, which is all? It goes beyond heaven into paradise.
Right.
It goes into the far reaches of the creation that we have no knowledge of.
Right.
You see, the truth, universal truth, the truth of life is eternal.
Yes.
You see, it's eternal. But how far does it go for each of our minds depend upon each individual. You see, so we say universal truth of the way of life.
Right.
Religion means our way of life.
Okay.
The way of life that Ahezaah Allah has chosen for us, And in this day and time, if we would look in the Quran, Allah talked about the new creation.
Right.
If you looked into the book of Revelation, it talked about the new day. Muhammad talked in the Quran about the great and dreadful day.
Right.
You know, well, we're part of the new creation in this new day, this great and dreadful day, and we see the end. We see the collapse of this government. We see the collapse of the world in many ways. We see, like what we said for the past 18, 20 years about how the earth would split asunder, we'd had these two moons, how Allah said it would destroy man's world by the microscopic creatures, by the elements of nature, where it had related to the four corners of the earth, you know, but Allah clarified that by saying it wasn't the four corners of the earth that it would destroy the world, the angels at the four corners of the earth. It is the four elements of the earth, which is the air, by the wind, the fire, the earth itself, and the water.
Right.
And this earth is being decimated by what's going on through these four elements. You know, and we could clearly see that in the destruction of the world.
Yes. Yes.
Wow. We're not going to be able to get everything in one show now.
Well, this is just an opening for our New York audience because, you know, we've been at war. You know, someone said to Brother Idris that a new audience, a new fan, new person said, you know, he seemed angry.
Yeah.
You know, and quite a few people have made that statement. You know, if he a man of Allah, why he seems so angry? Yeah. Well, let me just say this here. I am a sign of the Lord Most High. Okay. I'm a sign of his unseen, almighty, ubiquitous presence. I am a sign of the state that it is in regards to how it feels about man and what's going on in the world at this time. So if I come off angry, know that the Lord is angry. And we've been battling fools, ignorant people, unintelligent people, people who would close their minds out. If I was the devil and with pitchfork tail and horns, and I'm standing at a cliff saying, stop, don't go there, I'm the Lord of this world, and don't go any further because you're going to fall over. I guarantee you these same Muslims who say, I can't hear you and close down, they would listen to that devil and stop.
Yeah.
Huh? But if I stood on that same cliff, said, I'm the messenger of Allah, and I command you to stop, they said, kill him, and they all
run over the cliff.
Run over the cliff.
Try to push
Trying
you
to
over,
get me.
you over the cliff, you know.
They hate me more than they hate the devil.
Yeah.
They hate me more than they hate the devil themselves. They hate me, as Allah has said, it is not you that they hate because they do not know you.
Right.
It is my word. It is Allah's word of truth that they hate. How I'm going to be around here for 29, going on 30 years, speaking, writing a book, writing newsletters, putting information out in the community, putting information on the internet, sending it worldwide, sending newsletters over to Arabia and Africa, to different mosques and what have you. And no one come and shut me down. But the only thing that these billions these brothers over here could say is, Muhammad's the last. When they've been told that in the last speech of Muhammad, somebody added that to his speech. Muhammad didn't say it. Some doer of evil added that to his speech. Right. That Muhammad is the last. That when Allah said Muhammad is the seal of the prophets. Right. When he was speaking to the Jews, to the Hebrews about their prophets. Right. He is the seal of all of your prophets. He is the one who established the approval of all your prophets. He is the one who could clarify and be the criterion of whether this was a prophet or that was a prophet or that what they said here was right or wrong or so forth and so on. He is a stamp of approval, the seal. If they're going to make that mean the last, how you going to change the English language and then turn the seal into the final? Right. Right. You know, because someone want to use technology and use that word like, well, Muhammad sealed it up. Muhammad closed it up. Okay, close who up? Close what up? He was the promise of Jesus, and he closed up the coming of the prophets to the Hebrews, who rejected Allah. The Jews who turned to Judah, away from Israel, to the way of Judah, and rejection of Allah. You understand? So, and still what? Allah talked about the new day, the great day, the day of judgment, the day of revelation, the apocalypse, right? Muhammad was talking about the book of Revelation. And then the people come behind him want to talk about Muhammad was the last. Like, Allah, shut up. We don't want to hear you no more.
Right.
Huh? Where Allah put it in the Quran so wisely that the people before them tried that with Joseph.
Sure, no doubt.
You know?
No doubt.
So why is it that they want Allah to be quiet and shut up? And they just want to listen to what some imams or sheikhs or mullahs or whatever is saying, the interpreters of these words are saying to say that this is enough. Allah said if they turn and be like the people of the book before them, because they're the people of the book before us now,
Right.
that it would turn away from them. It would take its beauty away from them, its grace. It would take that which it has established for them, and it would let the devil loose on them. And there will be wars of brother against brother, bloodshedding. They would have no trust and no love for one another. Huh?
Yes.
Throughout the lands. And it will create a new creation, a new people to uphold this book. I don't care what anybody say. They can destroy Mecca. They can destroy Jerusalem. They can, just like Shiloh and the Ganges and any other place on earth that has been known as a holy center of grace.
Right.
If Ahezaah, if Allah men allow them to destroy it, then it has plans for a new place, because you're not going to take the center of being away from anything. And earth is a thing. And Allah demands that it has a center of its being on it, established. And it has established a new center of being, which we're not going to get into, but in the dilapidation or removal in spirit from the old center, the most recent center of being, which the billions of Muslims will not believe. Just like you got the Hindus still going to their holy places, the Jews going to their so-called holy places, and what have you, and the Christians going to their old holy places, thinking that the grace of Ahezaah is still there. Huh? Trying to make it be there. You know, the devil rules over here, and the devil rules in those places now.
I was going to ask that spirit of rebellion that seems to be in man when they refuse to acknowledge Ahezaah. They don't want to acknowledge that Ahezaah is real, that it has the capability of sending its messenger to a people, speaking in their language in a way that they understand it. That spirit of rebellion, that's a devil that they don't believe is real.
Yes.
Well,
you know.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. But just to get a little deeper into that, listening to the Holy Apostle speak, we have to go back. Religion has been used to manipulate people. And they coded religion, and we know it means the way of life. But okay, you take a people away from their home, and then you give them Christianity, and like the young lady said, the brother seemed like he's angry. So her saying that is already, her mind has been structured to believe that a man of the Lord is supposed to be passive,
and weak, humble, soft, indifferent to self-preservation. Like if somebody punched you in the face, you supposed to stay all peaceful. When Jesus cursed the Jews and said MFers or whatever in his language, that's cursing. The hell with you. Pop, hit your back, knock your tables over, destroy your stuff. Who the hell are you bringing this bull job inside the holy house of the Lord? The hell, and Allah had to get them out of there.
But if they just, see, Allah allowed man to do a lot. That's the way of Allah trying man. But if people look deep, they will know that when Allah spoke to Moses from that burning bush, Allah wasn't like, oh, Moses, oh, my son Moses. Allah came with fire. That's why the bush was burning.
That's why it was burning,
because it was
Moses
fire.
was shocked and his hair turned white.
And we reflect that which is that Allah put on us. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
So that the structure of religion that man has put on the people
has manipulated.
Did that for control. And that's why you have every religious group that come along say, Well, Buddha was the last.
Right.
And Moses was the last. And Jesus was the last. And Muhammad was the last.
Right.
That's all manipulation.
And they won't listen to nobody else.
And the law
that
saying,
comes behind.
Quran, say none of that which I have not said from myself. Basically, when they say those things, don't hold one higher than the other. I didn't give you that permission.
Right.
You know, but the people, the people that read the book will twist it and give you something different to go with. See, because none of them is raised higher than the Lord. And the biggest trick came with the Catholics and the Jews getting together and creating this Christianity.
Yeah.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
was the one of the biggest things. So when you go and look at religion, first of all, you got to look, especially African American people, you got to look deep. You got to say, okay, when we came from Africa, we was raped of everything. Everything was taken from us. Now they say you can vote, but we're gonna control that too. So we ain't gonna count the votes in Florida. You could worship, but you're going to worship as we say for you to worship. We're going to have you worshiping a Caucasian man on the cross. So you remember that we are your master. So we have to strip ourselves
You can
of
have jobs, but we gonna control your jobs. We gonna control the pay salary, the order of the pay salary, and we gonna control how you live and where you live.
Right.
a form
So
of slavery.
we everything, you know, when you come into this here, when you try to seek Ahezaah, for real, you have to start stripping yourself of all these things that has been given to you that keeps you down. Even when it comes to your nationality, how we as a people allow a Caucasian to make the stand about that. If you have one drop of African American, you are African American. Forget that 98% of Caucasian you may have in. That's why they got you so locked down. This is one of the greatest tricks they put on African American people. There is some African American people are more Caucasian than
You tell me.
a white, what we consider a white looking man.
Let me say this here and
Hold that thought.
I just hold that thought. Tell me that Mayor Booker ain't Caucasian. All right.
Okay.
Go back.
You know what I'm saying? Even some people we hang out,
Caucasian.
when you see him, you say, darn, he danced like a Caucasian. He act like, that's because he is. That DNA don't lie, but they won't let you investigate your DNA because they don't want you to find yourself. They want to keep you out. You go, Martin Luther King said, a man should not be judged by the contents of the color of his skin.
For the content of his character.
Of his character. But we look at skin tone. Skin tone don't mean nothing. I know some people dark as day and they supervise and they act just like Caucasian.
But
they wasn't trained that way. It's in them. Just like in some of us that act like another race of people. There's things going on inside the African American people that they have to get in touch with so that they could put their lives in order. And one of them is get away from all this structure that has been given to them and look deeper and divorce themselves of those things so that they could begin to grow.
What we say is probably looking for something new, looking for something divinely sent.
Yes.
Something divinely sent, because this thing is being totally disconnected from whom you are, having no idea what you are, meaning making you open to take on anything, such as the Afro-American Muslims taking on Orthodox Islam and not even knowing those people's histories about, you know.
Right, and another
them
thing,
up.
and then I'm going to let you go back, Holy Apostle,
Lord.
is that Prophet Muhammad was an olive complexion. Now, the Arabs tried to make him seem like he was a green complexion. Everybody from the Middle East over in other countries always try to act like Prophet Muhammad was green. If he was green, we all would be scared. Okay?
now let the people know you're only joking when you say green, because we know that ours was black and green.
Right.
They say, where's she coming from? What's she talking about?
So what we have to look at is that Ahezaah told Prophet Muhammad that if these people that I'm sending you to do not uphold my covenant, I will replace them with a new people. Now, a new people, you have to look at what Prophet Muhammad was told to write. A new people. Okay, where's the new people? You always had Caucasian, African, Asians, and what have you, all those structures.
Right.
What's the new people? Just like America is the new the youngest country.
Yeah.
What's the new
A
people?
whole new racial group.
The children that came from Africa, who was placed in the United States of America in this new country, that was raped by every race of people that came across the United States of America.
Let me clarify that.
Go ahead.
The Asiatic black man, Asiatic dark-skinned group of people that was the natives to this nation that mixed with the African nation that was brought over from slavery, that then began to mix with all the other groups of people in this nation. You see, those are the ones who are the new people. The people who is mixed of every race. Now, Martin said, don't judge the people by the color of their skin, but you got to judge your sight by what you see coming at you first.
Right.
You know? And who was Martin talking to? He was talking to Caucasians. He wasn't talking to black folks.
Right.
He was pleading with the Caucasians, please don't judge me by the color of my skin.
Right.
Huh? Because everybody judged things wrongfully.
Okay.
That's where the
See,
word
if Martin was wholly guided in wisdom, being aware of the Lord, if he had a personal relationship with the Lord, where the Lord was speaking to Martin Luther King, the Reverend, he would have said, don't judge men. Leave that judging for the Lord itself.
Right.
Not don't judge men by the color of their skin. See, he left out something most important. Don't judge men. Be not the judge of men. Leave that for the Lord. And let the Lord guide you. See, I was looking at something yesterday, and I didn't turn on no debates and stuff, but yesterday something happened. I stopped and looked at the debate, and they was talking about the education system in this country, and they were saying, how could they fix it? How could they fix it? They didn't spend so many dollars, the greatest nation with the poorest education, system of education among all the established nations.
Right.
How can they fix it? They talking about different avenues, money and well, make a long story short, because I don't want to be trying to figure that out because I kind of forget it. But the way you fix this education system is you fix the racism.
That's the first, yeah.
It's the only. It's not the first, it's the first and the last.
Okay.
If you fix the racism in this nation, then you'll fix the education problem. Because the education problem hinges on the racism alone. The only reason that you have the have and the have-nots is because of the racism.
Right.
If you eliminate racism, you eliminate that problem because everybody start being equal. They be taught equal.
Right.
They be fair and just, clear across the board. But as long as there's racism, I don't care if you bust me from here to Timbuktu. When I come back, am I going to get an equal job? How many people you know established in the factories with degrees?
Plenty.
Doing factory work because they black.
Yeah.
Or some other race that's not recognized. Oh, now you get a lot of Caucasians with them great degrees up there in them jobs that they would never dream of having because of the breakdown of the system.
Right.
System is breaking. It's been breaking down for 20, 30 years now. And people only can see it now.
Yeah.
Because it's getting to that time where it's completely collapsing.
Right.
You see? But all that will be changed if you get rid of the racism. Now, the very guys that's sitting up on the panel running for president, Obama and McCain, both of them are racist.
Yeah.
Both of them are racist. But the people can't see the racism of one as much as they can see the other because they judge him by the color of the skin.
Right.
But if you listen to them very carefully, you know they are racist. And you know ultimately they're not going to do anything to change what's going on with the poorest folks.
Right.
Regardless to their race. They're not planning to do anything to change that.
Yeah.
Now how you going to be a strong, healthy body if your feet are weak? Your feet breaking down. You look at the poorest people as your feet.
Right.
Yeah.
Huh?
Right.
It's the same problem that this nation has always had. They want to stay great forever, but how could you stay great forever if you killing and castigating part of your being? The African American, so-called African American, is a great part of the being of these United States of America. You cannot eliminate the spirit of the people that's going into the building of the nation.
That's right.
That's right.
You cannot eliminate the opinions and the effect that they have on this nation and the world.
Who of you want to do things right? To keep up with keeping your lives tight. Tight as in being right with the truth of true insight.